There's not a single day that passes without you on my mind. Not even.
Hello, Simply Passionate Life. It's Precious KW here, and I am in Art House in Grand Park for this amazing love respect panel with the Virtuous Life Coaching. Oh my gosh, y'all, it's about to be amazing. So stay tuned for more details and more info from the event. Alright, so we're here, we're about to get started. It's going to be a lot of information from the panelists. Spoiler alert, you're going to see a lot more Virtuous Life coaching because I'm speaking at one of the next events. Alright, let's simply be passionate and stay tuned to the rest of the episode. Love you so much.
Well, welcome everyone. Let me get these other, can someone grab that question back there? Welcome everyone to Love, Respect, and Building the Covenant. Alright, so my name is ShaCarolyn. Thank you. I'm a life and career coach. I work in the school systems here. I work with women all over the country. I do motivational speaking also. And so this is a new venture for me. Everyone's going to kind of introduce themselves. We're going to start with Ashleigh, and we're going to go down and everyone will introduce, ending with Brother Tim, husband extraordinaire. At the end, we're going to open it up for open discussion. But if you have any additional questions that you want to pop in my basket, just come on up and do it. Okay?
Alright, my name is Ashleigh Guice. I am an author, a life coach, and a blogger. So the name of my blog is called Single Woman Chronicles, providing dating tips for the single woman and youth. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Be sure to follow my blog, Single Woman Chronicles. Thank you.
How y'all doing tonight?
Good.
My name is Torian. I guess you can call me a serial entrepreneur. I started 3 businesses. We also mentor young men. Just trying to get back to guys, from youth, adolescent, all the way up to young adults to an adult,
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rachel Rogers. I've been an educator for the past 22 years. Mission is to speak life into young ladies to help them become what they really need to become. My husband will tell you a little bit more about what we do, but we started a relationship podcast. We're on YouTube. We're all about empowering other people.
Hello, my name is Jimmy Rogers. That's my wife. But yeah, she mentioned the business. We have a company called R&R Consulting Group. We teach people how to create and develop healthier, stronger relationships.
Hi, I'm Leslie Carr Robinson, and we're here as a couple. This is my husband, Timothy. He'll talk himself. But we've been married 7 years, so we waited a little later in life to get married. We actually married I married at 47 years old. And so, miraculously enough, it was, like I said, both of our first marriage. And I think that's kind of why ShaCarolyn has us on the panel. And hopefully we'll go home and still be a good couple.
Well, my name is Tim Robinson, and this is my wife. Like she said, we've been married now for 7 years. I'm truly in love with her.
Amen.
Even till today. So I'm just happy to be here. Thank you.
Perfect. So, all right. So we're going to get popping with the first question. My. How do you know if someone is the one? Ooh.
I feel like when you go searching, you find what you're not looking for. So you just sit back and let it come to you and it manifests.
Can the ladies respond?
Yes, you can.
Go for it.
She's the one. No, well, I think for me, I just started watching. I observed her for a couple of months before I started asking questions. And I noticed that she was outgoing, that's my mannerism. She was fun. I was like, okay, that's me. We won't clash there. I saw her competing, I was like, yep, she talked trash, that'll work. Okay, so I just started putting all the pieces together, and so I knew, I told her, well actually when I first approached her, she was like, I'm dating someone. And so I asked her, I said, well, how long have you and this guy been dating? And she told me, how many years was it?
It was 4 years.
She said 4 years, and I was like, oh. I said, oh really? 4 years? She was like, yeah. I said, oh, he's not serious. You're gonna be my wife. And I walked away.
He actually did do that.
Wow.
And so, yeah, she's my wife today.
I wanted to be able to look at my children. Those girls are gonna grow up one day. And I want to be able to look at them, and when they ask me, Mommy, why? I want them to know that Mommy turned over every stone. I did everything that I could to save that marriage. So, in order to answer your question, in order for any marriage to be saved, both individuals have to be willing to do what it takes to make it work. And this is key. Single people, married people, here's what's key. Sometimes you want, and you probably can relate to this, sometimes you want to do something, you know cognitively the right thing to do, but emotion has to catch up with cognition. And so I knew that this marriage was broken, and I did everything I could to hold the pieces together. However, I knew I could not leave until emotionally I was ready to make that decision. Because what I didn't want to do was be like a dog going back to my vomit. Once it was over, it was over.
When I talk to ladies, if you ask the average lady, who comes first, your children or your spouse? Now, I didn't say should, I say who is it? 90% of the women gonna say my kids, right? And that is wrong. It is dead wrong. And literally that's how your marriage is. And he feels like he's coming second to, and the truth is he's not even second, because 9 times out of 10, your family gonna probably come next, or your job or your career. And then he fits in somewhere after you
Teach, sir.
kind of go to sleep. And I tell men the same thing. Dude, your career, your friends, your hobbies should not come before your spouse. If you want to know what a person values most, look where they spend their time and their money. That's who they truly love. That's what they truly love. You can't tell me you love me if 90% of your time is with your job.
Teach, sir.
So time is valuable. You can't mistreat it. You can't mistreat it. And I caution you, find out what your significant other's love language is and focus on that. Because normally we have about 2 or 3 that ranks high, and I tell people 3 might be hard for you to do on a consistent level, right? But at least shoot for the top 2. Because those are the ones that mean the most.
I love being married to my husband. So many lessons learned this second go around. People think marriage a lot of times is just warm and fuzzy and romantic, and don't get me wrong, we laugh, we joke, we have the romance, all that. But let me tell you something. Marriage is about fixing about 90% of the things that went wrong in your childhood.
Somebody get that on, get
Just let that marinate for a minute.
Because he had never heard his parents argue, he thought that this was the breaking point of the relationship.
Well, I thought
He thought it was serious, like we're not gonna be able to make it, and this was, like
It's the
a couple of months, the beginning of our marriage.
Right.
And so he's thinking that this is it, we're gonna go our separate way. I'm like, what do you mean, what do I wanna do? We're gonna get up tomorrow and we're gonna, keep it moving, right?
I didn't see that. I just didn't see that, For me, I didn't see that because I've never seen my parents argue. So I thought, okay, so the things that
This isn't working.
Right, it wasn't working. So,
Mama, she argued. What I do?
And
leave.
this is important, and this is why we're all here, because he's seen 50 years of marriage.
Yes.
And so not everyone has seen that. So you see that it's possible, and he has a different view of it than a lot of people that have not seen it. That's why you gotta get in the room with people that have seen it and have these conversations with people that have seen it to see it done. And I am sure, just as sure as I'm sitting here, that this is gonna be 50 plus years, and I am always blessed when I walk into their home, because I just get to see, and she's kind of like me, she cooks with her apron on, and so it's like he's manly man, but he caters to her, and he doesn't make any excuses for it. He's unapologetic about the love for his wife.
Well, we're two very passionate people, and that's a wonderful thing on one end, but it can be very challenging when we don't agree with one another. And so what I think is important, and he kind of put it out there, because he had never seen it, he really didn't have the tools to, like, how do we navigate through this? And when you're married with someone, there are some things that you can pull away and say, okay, this is not a good time. But it can be an issue that has to be talked about. So then the question is, how do we navigate through that? And my husband and I, eventually we went to counseling, because we realized, and sometimes, you know, especially with African Americans, it's so taboo. I mean, we tune up our cars. We go to the doctor every year, more than once a year, but yet it's so taboo to go to somebody who is professional, who's a mediator, who can kind of help you navigate through. So we have relationship commandments that we've created within our relationship. And it has literally, you can admit, I'm sure, that it has completely changed the way we dialogue when we don't agree.
That word submission is like a curse word.
It's a buzzword.
Submit. Like, yeah, it's right here in the Bible. See? Right there. I didn't say that, God did. I mean, read it. You know what I mean? And I think part of that comes because men have really misused that and abused it. And not, you know, he didn't keep reading like that next verse. Now, that does not mean, ladies, that he's no longer the head. He's still the head, but in any company, there is a CEO, but does he do all of the jobs? No. He submits and relinquishes those duties to other people who are better qualified.
Delegate.
He learns how to delegate, or she learns how to delegate authority, and things get done better.
Yeah, I do like the single perspective.
People like to twist stuff up. They done heard all of this, and they was thinking before they got here, I got this dude, should I submit to him or not? And you ain't married.
Come on.
So, teach, man.
I was submitting, I was giving wifely duties to boyfriends for so long.
Wow.
And she not gonna do it no more.
But I guess I had just been so used to holding it down myself. And I'll never forget what my pastor's wife had said one time. Sometimes men, as strong as they are, they need to feel needed. And if you can do everything yourself, they're thinking, what does she need me for? And so sometimes you have to humble yourself. It may have been your idea, but somehow he has figured out a way to make it his idea, and you just let him think it's his idea. Let him just go with that. Because it makes him feel good to be the provider and the protector, and he's got your back. And that's something that I have had to learn and even teach my daughters. I'm trying to change the tide here in realizing I do have somebody who is capable, who is loving, and who has my back.
Oh, I just love y'all. Y'all getting some out of this? Y'all getting some? Let's give them a hand.